Okay, so from yesterday's video, I never got to finish the story about Robert Bussey. The Pashat story, the simple story, is that he decided the roots of ninjutsu were too tied up with the dark mysticism of Asia, and he decided to follow Jesus. I'd like to read that book. It's in a list of about 1,000 books I want to read. I want to know what the story was. So for me, this is a step up, but obviously, you know my opinion that it's to put it simply, Jesus isn't where it's at. But to go to one of the Abrahamic paths is to me, it's closer to something healthy. But don't get me wrong, like I said, from all the different world paths we have something. For the internet community, I might come off as really extreme fanatical, but in terms of the Orthodox Jewish community, I'm considered an extremely open-minded type of person. So don't be closed-minded here. It's all about compost. What's the metaphor of compost? You take whatever is rotten and useless, and you put it together, and you work with it, and then it becomes the soil for new growth. Not to say that Christianity or Buddhism is rotten and useless. It's just we're making a new way here. I'm looking for comrades on this journey that aren't scared to think. If you're scared to think, you're not gonna hang in here. You'll come up with excuses of why to do something else. And if you're at least a little bit honest, you'll tell me those excuses. And when you tell them to me, you'll know that they're BS, and you'll know that I can hear that they're BS. But at least there's some kind of chance at communication. The real pathetic types, they just kind of sneak off and pretend they're doing something that's more close to their heart. And the real types I want here, you want to question, you want to find out what's really true for you, not for me, not for Jesus, not for your parents. I have endless stories from my own experience of working with people that, you know, to quote Henry David Thoreau, the mass of men are leading lives of quiet desperation. The mass of men are leading lives of quiet desperation. And you know, the key there is quiet. Take, for instance, someone I knew from my past. She got married to someone very different than her. He was very rich, had his act together, a real gentleman. And I caught up with her after a long time, and she described her life, and it was obvious there was something very big missing. And so I started to share with her different ideas, big ideas, new ideas. And it was like I felt her neshama perk up, and then the what's that word? Responsible, practical part of herself say, "Whoa, I can't let any of this in," you know. if I let this in, how can I possibly keep living this lie in the way I'm living it? It'd be too complicated to change. I mean, people, that kind of thing is like, it makes no sense. There's a saying in Islam that everyone submits to God, and it's either willingly or unwillingly. All submit to Allah willingly or unwillingly. So what this means is we're all gonna get put through it eventually. Submitting to God means like, you know, going all the way towards what's most true. So what they're saying is we're all going to do that eventually. There's no way out of that. There's no way out of this path. That's what happens. It happens through sickness. It happens through supposedly accident. It happens through death. It happens through drama. It happens through poverty. Whatever means, we all get put through our challenges so that we're forced to grow. Even if you have the best life in the world, you can count on death being part of your scenario. For the record, I like I said in the past, I'm into this immortality practices, and I think we should all, you know, what's the harm of trying to get to that like supposedly impossible level of health? The worst that can happen is you're more healthy now. You have a more healthy life. So anyhow, everyone submits to Allah willingly or unwillingly. Everyone submits to God willingly or unwillingly. So the story I told you about the lady I caught up with after a long time, what I'm trying to say is she can put off a kind of direct challenge to make her life better in a really radical way. But she's going to be put through her changes involuntarily over the years anyways. This method is for people that want to get the hard stuff out of the way on purpose first. Back when I was in school, I used to you know, run home after school and get my homework done right away, and then, you know, have a whole huge adventure for the rest of the afternoon and evening. And a lot of my friends would agonize all day over not doing their homework, and then at the last minute before class get it done. And we should try to be like the first habit, you know. What's the hardest stuff we can get out of the way first? So that's this practice we're describing. In terms of a physical side of the practice, when you're standing outside, just to hold the hands out at shoulder's length with the palms turned up, and try to keep them up for a half an hour or an hour. A lot of pain is going to come up, and that pain is this submission we're talking about. That pain is you breaking through all the garbagey stuff in your life. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and through that pain, we call it the pain gate. In Asian meditation, it's called the pain gate. So if you can go through that pain gate, there's light on the other side. there's Or, there's light, and there's Kalim. There's the ability to hold the light. And we all have to build our life in such a way that we can hold as much light as possible. We just started to touch on the subject in all these videos, but a huge source of light is connected to sexuality. A man's seed, a man's semen, it has a literal spiritual light to it. And when it's wasted, and there's lots of different versions of wasting it, but when it's wasted, the man's draining a lot of light out of his system. And so deep down, a guy's not going to feel good about wasting it. If you're a woman and you kind of get off on getting guys to waste it, deep down you're not going to feel good about it. You know, most of Western culture for women is about this whole lie of getting guys excited sexually without really having a real place for them to plant their seed. So yeah, it's part of the big lie that we're bursting here. And it's tempting to say, oh, I don't want to deal with this so-called morality. Give me freedom, give me liberty, or give me death. And you know, be my guest, keep living the lie. The lie is one click away, you know, just click me off forever. And but the real thing here is all win-win. When our sexuality is practiced properly, all that light gets built, it gets expanded. There's a potential to have your cake and eat it too. That's the promise of all these systems. Truth be told, before my life, I was on a really serious path that was guided by the Hindus and the Buddhists, and in those traditions, generally the highest path was to never get married and to conserve all that sexual energy and keep transforming it into spiritual energy, to turn the ojas to prana to shakti, and the lower energies to middle energies to higher energies. And being a good American, I was trying to get the A+. And then I started studying about the Torah path, where the promise is that you can have a normal kind of family life and still get to the highest levels. And so I just started studying it, and I stayed up all night studying once at the Rabbi Posner's Chabad house in Boston. The wonderful person, Rabbi Posner. And I stayed up all night studying once, or a lot of the nights studying once, and suddenly I believed it. I believed the promise of the Torah. It was like a light bulb went off in my head. I thought, that's it. I'm just gonna try to get married and start a family instead of being a monk. So here I am 10 years later, and we haven't got to the got married, start a family part, which is why I put out 18,000 shekels, 5,000 American dollars to whoever sets me up with a woman that I end up marrying. It's called being a matchmaker, being a shadchan, and that's why I put that money on the table to help fulfill this part of the vision, because the Jewish tradition says for sure you can't get to the higher levels without getting married and starting a family. There was a couple examples in history. Yonatan ben Uziel whose kever's at Amuka, and who is the other one? But it's really rare. You know, just throughout every single one of the leaders, the real leaders, got married. King Shlomo had 1,000 wives. King David had 16, right? So I'm just aiming for one, and the reason it's in your interest to help is the more balanced and powered up I get, the more I'm going to be able to help you. Speaking of which, there's endless blessings in doing charity. So whatever I can help you with for free, you should please always let me know. And apologies in advance if I don't come through or come through right away, but I just want to know what you need, and I like to try to help. And if your requests are a little more realistic, it's welcome, but you can give me even the unrealistic requests. I want to try to help. It's part of me gathering blessings. The first real alternative spirituality I did was in America. I spent about a month with the Lakota Sioux in South Dakota, and they had this whole tradition, the medicine man, the spirit warriors, and there's some phrase that's similar there. It's like gathering power, something like that. Like the people would do things to gather in their power. The medicine man, the warriors would do different vision quests or drum circles. So when you give me a chance to do charity for you, it's part of me gathering my blessings. Then I can count them up, cash them in, help me get married. And probably the thing that makes the most sense here is if you feel you could be a really sincere student of this method and you just don't have the money, ask for a scholarship, ask to get started for free. I'll basically take anyone on for free who's really serious. But my level of serious is a lot more serious than you're gonna imagine. But let's try anyways. It's fun. It's fun to put you through the ringer. Yeah, so one reason I like pushing everyone to do your hour a day of practice in nature is then I'm a real hypocrite if I don't do it. So I came out here today to the park to do my little practice, and it's just great. I could I kept my arms up for maybe, I don't know, half an hour. Had a lot of good pain, and got a lot of junk coughed up out of my system. In Taoism, they talk about health in really simple ways. So one thing is that we have a lot of toxic air inside ourselves. So when you come to nature and you do really good breathing and good exercise and good emotional release, all that toxic air gets released through the pores of your skin, through gas, through sound, shouting. And when that toxic air stays inside you, it just it can distend your intestines. It can make your intestines push out, kind of get all blocked up. It can make your brain feel kind of clouded. I have a senior colleague here in Israel named Dr. Binyamin Rothstein. And he wrote a book all about brain fog, how to clear up the brain fog that most people are suffering from. And that leads me to my final point, which I'll continue next video. Bleed Netter.